Hi, this is Savannah Keithley, and I will be talking through my presentation for Exam 2. I found 4 videos. 2 of them were speeches on gun control, and 2 of them were speeches on pro-gun. The first video and speech was Obama giving a speech on how we can do little things to better control gun violence, and he said, if we can use our fingerprint to open our phones, why can't we do the same to own a gun? The second video is a student from Parkland, Florida, who gives an emotional speech at an anti-gun rally held after 17 people were killed in the school shooting at Douglas High School. The third video is a speech that Trump gives on the Second Amendment rights and how Americans should have the right to own and bear arms for self-defense and safety. And the fourth video is a 15-year-old pro-gun enthusiast who has shot guns at a young age and is a member of a gun range, and she speaks about how guns aren't the problem and people are. Here are the sources that I used. Mainly, I got my videos from CNN, and then the fourth video is from Today News. Here's a quick little chart just for a quick glimpse. This is the human communication rubric scores that I gave them. The Obama and Florida student speeches received slightly higher scores due to the nonverbal language and emotion that they used in their speeches, making them altogether engaging and powerful. And Trump and the 15-year-old received slightly lower scores due to the imagery, syntax, and semantics lacking slightly more than the other two. Emotion was also lacking, making them slightly less engaging than the others. In the Obama speech, I believe that the Florida girl and the Obama speech did a better job emotionally. His speech was emotionally engaging. He cried during his speech. He took long pauses in between sentences, and his voice loudness was appropriate. He could have used better semantics in speech and creating more imagery in the message. And the Florida student, she gave her speech. It was very intense and emotional in her voice and loudness. She cried at certain parts of the speech. She used appropriate pauses in between sentences. She looked down at the podium. Her speech was very organized. Her articulation, pronunciation was very clean and audible, and she used great syntax and semantics by how her sentences were flowing and imagery being utilized by the stories she was telling. Behaviorally, I thought that the pro-gun videos did better. They were formal speeches. Trump's speech, he used appropriate voice and loudness, articulation of speech, gestures, and organization. His speech was clear, concise, and formal. He articulated the meaning of the speech and used relevant details. And his semantics could have improved by using more vivid imagery. The 15-year-old pro-gun speech, her behavior was reserved, professional, and straight to the point. She used relevant data to back up her facts. Her voice and loudness could have improved. She was pretty quiet during her speech, but it was very formal, and her sentences were well organized and phrases flowed well. Some nonverbal language that I observed in all of these videos. Mainly, I saw nonverbal language in the 2 emotional speeches by Obama and the Florida student. Nonverbal language was extensively used in the second video of the Florida student. Her body language was telling its own story. She pulled herself into the podium, put her head down during pauses. She used hand and arm gestures, facial expressions to the audience. It was very engaging. And in the pro-gun videos, the 15-year-old girl, her facial expressions did not hardly change. She kind of just had the same face the whole time she was talking, as well as her voice, her tone of voice, and her hand gestures were lacking as well. Some critical thinking that I observed in the videos, it was apparent in the Obama and Florida student videos that they were using critical thinking by the extent of their speeches. Their speeches were well formed and thought through, and very well organized. Both used previous incidents relating to gun violence and talked about the mental health of these individuals and motives that were apparent in those situations. And then particularly in the 15-year-old pro-gun speech, she used statistics that she had clearly done research on to present the information. She talked about previous mass shootings incidents and evaluated them. Both Trump and the girl talked about their knowledge of the Constitution and the Second Amendment, and both utilized critical thinking in their speeches. Interpersonal communication that was observed. All speeches used interpersonal communication by exchanging information to the audiences. The audience for all the speeches were engaged by clapping, actively listening, and cheering, making noises as a response. They used facial expressions, form of voice, and body language to exchange this information. And specifically, I think the Florida student did the best at exchanging interpersonal communication. This is due to the uproaring responses that she received from the crowd when she was speaking. As a conclusion, anti-gun speakers did a better job of engaging the audience. They used fantastic emotion, articulation, and pauses in their speeches. They used better body language and nonverbal communication, leading to more interpersonal responses. The pro-gun speakers did a better job with formal and professional speeches. Speeches were more informational than they were trying to engage the audience, and the speeches were based on factual data rather than emotional data. Thank you.